Here she is. She's going to read an excerpt of her book.
Thank you, Cynthia. And before I start, I just want to say what we always said with Jane. I am Sarah, and I am a writer. And that was in our... Yes. And those of you who knew Jane Hancock, she was one of the leaders of the writing project. The other one is here, Faye. Faye Peitzman is here. And some of my other writing friends, Carl is here as well. And we used to meet once a month at Jane's house to do some writing. And Faye was actually my writing teacher when I was in college, when I was going to be a teacher. And then, and here is Natalie, who is the other writing project person. So we used to meet all the time at Jane's house once a month in Glendale. It was a long trip for me, but it was so worth it because I had a community of writers who all worked together, and writing can be very, very lonely when you don't have an audience, and these people were my first audience. And speaking of my first audience, my kids are here as well. I used to make them listen to my writing all the time, and sometimes that's all you really need is to hear it out loud in your own voice to know what works and doesn't work. They were always patient and very supportive. And then my other great support, Frank, my husband, who read the first novel that I wrote and told me what was wrong with it. And and then I was sure to not make those errors in the second one that I wrote. So he says he's not a writer, but he knows exactly what works and what doesn't work. And being here, it kind of feels like this is my child, and I've held it for over 10 years, just working on it, writing and rewriting. And now I'm ready to let it go. And for those of you who are parents and have seen your kids go to college or get married or just go live on their own, you know that feeling of, oh my God, now you're releasing it. And that's how it feels now. It's exciting. People ask me how it feels. It's exciting, but it's scary as well, because I just hope that people can appreciate it and love it as much as I do. And it's so close to my heart that releasing it to the cold world, you just hope that it fares well. I'd also like to thank some of the other people that are here. Actually, some of the people that are not here. Juana, my cousin, who also was one of my first readers, who gave me so much positive feedback. And she read my writing when I was 9-10 years old in Spanish and in English. And
that's my sister.
She would, yes, my cousin. Yes. Your sister. And she cried, she applauded, she just was my biggest champion. She couldn't be here because she's in Florida taking care of her grandson, but she really wanted to be here, and she's still here helping us. And then I'd also like to thank my angel, Ophelia. Where is she? Ophelia. So when I hadn't finished writing this book, when I had an incident that I've shared with many of you, where my heart stopped, I had to be revived. I was very healthy and really had no reason to believe that anything like this would happen. And she worked on me for the longest time. And you can see she's not a big person. This little tiny thing just trying to do CPR on me. She's a nurse, and at the time she was still working as a nurse, and she was able to bring me back. She didn't know that I was coming back until actually a couple weeks later. Yeah, and she can tell the whole story because honestly I don't remember any of it. But she always says that God worked through her. But I think, if that's true, God chose the perfect person. And so I'd like to thank her for the fact that I'm here. Okay, and I'd like to thank all of the rest of you who are here to support me. This means a lot to me. You guys are all my closest friends and family, and I love all of you, and that's why you're here. Thank you.
We love you.
So, and finally, I should not forget my two daughters-in-law, who have worked all day for this. And Cynthia put together my website, and she's really worked hard on being my marketing person, because I'm like one of the people here in this table, and some of you others over here who just cannot do the internet as well as they can. They were born with it, So thank you, girls, my 2 daughters-in-law. I love you both. And I'm so glad I have not 2 daughters-in-law, but 2 daughters. Okay. And thank you to my sister and my niece who are here, and all the rest of you. Thank you. Frank's family, all our car friends, and all of our good old friends from way back. Okay. So I'm going to read an excerpt. And this is a little later into the novel, where Yamina Lina, the title character, becomes a dancer at a cabaret for tourists, and she does occasionally also take money from tourists for various things. But one of her dancing friends has told her that she needs to find herself a homely tourist, because a homely tourist will appreciate her, and maybe she will be the trophy wife he can't get back home, and he can take her back, and she will be a prize to him, rather than trying to look for these young, cool men who are just looking for an experience. So then she finally does get into a relationship with a homely tourist. So this is the beginning of that relationship. He came for the carnivals and fell in love with me, as Havana exploded in its annual orgy of the senses. Okay, let's start that one again. Freudian slip. He came for the carnivals and fell in love with me, as Havana exploded in its annual orgy of the senses. Sights of flashing lights, flying streamers, careening floats festooned like wedding cakes, and masked giants on 3-foot stilts dancing across the malecon. Sounds of guarachera music, a cacophony of competing conga beats, squealing children and drunken men barking pickup lines at unresponsive women. Smells of fresh sweat, car exhaust, roasted garlic, and spilled beer drying on asphalt. Tastes of savory lechon, salty peanuts, crispy beer, and sweet rum. Sensations of bodies claimed by the rhythm, bumping, grinding, thumping, and above it all, that hot, briny air pressing down on the whole humanity. An exhalation of the sea that we could see, hear, smell, taste, and feel right to the marrow. It was too much, especially for a foreigner like Felipe. He stood with a group of Central American men drinking Cristal beers and ogling me. I could tell they were Central American based on their attire of white guayaberas, which only Cuban waiters and grandfathers wore anymore, and huaraches, the sandal of Mexico. They also had the indigenous features you didn't see in Cubans. Our natives had long ago lost the genetic war to the Europeans and Africans. Needless to say, they stood out. The men were looking my way and discussing a plan of action, deciding who would make the move and how. I couldn't hear them, but I'd seen the pageant played out countless times. It always looked the same. I had no intention of being picked up that night. I was there with my family, my daughter, my mother, my sister, and Victor. The Cabaret Parisien was closed during the carnivals. No one would pay for a show when they could see a better one for free. A few of my dancer friends were performing in the parade, and the others were meeting up there. It was a young troupe, and they socialized after hours. But I spent any time I could spare with my daughter. I wanted to be with her, to enjoy her. Those were my only thoughts that night. One of the guys, the drunkest of the group, approached me and told me how beautiful I was. He was too close and his breath reeked of alcohol. I rolled my eyes and turned away, which irritated him enough that he called me a pinche puta. As the man of the family, Victor took the affront personally. Oye, hombre, you need to ease up, he said, pale and shaken as he stepped between this man and me. Isabel Elena started to cry. Amaris threw her arms around her protectively, and Mommy pulled on Victor, trying to restrain him from starting a fight he couldn't finish. Then this guy's buddies jumped in, pulling him back as he cussed in Mexican fashion and launched forward at Victor. They whisked him away, leaving Victor fuming and Isabel Elena crying in hysterics. One of the men approached us to apologize for his friend. I'm sorry, he said, first to Victor and then to me. Please, let me buy you a drink, all of you. Shaken, Victor was not eager to socialize with a stranger, but Mommy could never pass up anything free and accepted for all of us. We walked to an outdoor table and sat. Isabel Elena finally stopped crying when this good Mexican offered her a Shirley Temple. Victor asked for a cristal while Mommy chose the most expensive beverage on the menu, a shot of Havana Club, Havana Club Añejo 15 años. Even though I didn't want anything, Mommy ordered me a daiquiri, which I nursed until the ice melted, rendering it undrinkable. I just wanted to go home and sleep, but Mommy kept it going, doing her best to charm this foreigner intent on making reparations for his countrymen's transgressions.
Yeah.